Hey everyone, welcome back to USH Daily. Make sure you hit like and share this with all your fellow school leaders out there. And be sure to leave a comment down below if you have any questions. You never know. We might just tackle them in a future deep dive.
Yeah, we love hearing from you guys, so let us know.
Today we are diving deep into something that I'm sure a lot of you have faced at some point.
Oh, yeah.
That star staff member, the one you really depend on, starts acting up.
All right.
So we're going to unpack all of this using insights from Effective School Management, which is a practical guide for you as a school leader.
And this book is really great. You know, it kind of emphasizes that you need to understand your staff as individuals first.
Right.
They all have their own needs and motivations.
Yeah.
And they really emphasize that schools are not like businesses.
Right.
And thankfully, they ditch all the confusing jargon. You know, they keep it nice and easy to understand.
Yeah, so let's unpack this.
Okay.
So the book talks about motivation, and one theory that it dives into is Herzberg's two-factor theory. Have you heard of that one?
Yes, I have.
It's a little different from Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
It is, yeah.
So what's the difference?
Well, Maslow's, it's a hierarchy. Herzberg's theory argues that satisfaction and dissatisfaction, they're not two ends of the same spectrum.
Okay.
They're influenced by different factors. So think about it this way. You could be paid really well and have a comfortable workspace.
Right.
Those are hygiene factors.
Okay.
But you can still feel unfulfilled if you lack things like recognition or if you're not finding the work itself very interesting. So those would be the motivators.
So if your star staff member is suddenly underperforming,
Yeah,
could it be that they're lacking those motivators?
it could definitely.
Maybe they're not feeling challenged or their contributions aren't acknowledged.
Or maybe they don't feel like they're accomplishing what they set out to do.
Right. Or on the flip side of that are the hygiene factors.
Exactly.
Maybe something has changed with those.
Yeah.
Maybe a new school policy or, their workload has become overwhelming.
It's important to really look at both sides.
Yes, definitely.
And this is where we want to hear from you guys listening.
Yeah.
What are some of the things you've seen, some potential hygiene factors in your school that you think might be leading to some dissatisfaction? Let us know in the comments.
And, this reminds me of a quote from the book where a head of department said, "My worst problem as head of department is that I have turned off teachers in my department and I can't seem to motivate them."
Wow.
It's kind of a stark reminder that sometimes it's us,
Yeah.
our management style, that's the problem.
Absolutely. And especially when you are dealing with somebody that was a high performer.
Right.
Taking that autocratic approach can really backfire.
Yeah.
This book stresses how important it is to adapt your style
To the individual.
to the individual and the situation.
Which brings us to another important point, and that is communication.
Yes.
And not just any communication,
Right.
but open, honest, and direct dialogue.
Here's where it gets really interesting. You can't just tell this staff member what they're doing wrong. You need to understand their perspective.
Right.
What are the issues and needs that they're seeing?
From their point of view.
Yeah. What's going on in their world that might be affecting their performance?
It's so easy to make assumptions, though.
Oh, yeah.
But, stepping back and really listening without judging can be incredibly revealing.
For sure.
I've been in those situations where I thought I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
But then I realized it was something completely different.
And we want to hear from you, listeners. Have you ever been surprised by what you learned just by taking a step back and really listening to a staff member that was struggling? Let us know in the comments.
That leads perfectly into the book's discussion of delegation and ownership.
Okay.
They had this phrase, "My idea, it will work."
Yeah.
And it really emphasizes how important it is to involve the staff member in finding solutions.
That's a key takeaway. When you empower someone to be a part of the solution, they get more motivated. So instead of you just telling them what to do, guide them, ask them questions, and let them discover the path forward.
So instead of seeing it as acting up,
Right.
could it be that this staff member is ready for more responsibility or autonomy?
It's definitely a possibility, and this is where you need to start thinking about team dynamics.
Okay.
The book talks about all the different roles that people play within a team, from the coordinator to the plant.
The plan.
Yeah, the plant is the one who comes up with all the creative ideas.
Oh.
So it really makes you think, is there a role mismatch? Maybe this staff member has outgrown their current role, or they're not really using their strengths.
That's so insightful. And speaking of strengths, I remember the book mentioning how we tend to delegate tasks we're not good at ourselves.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible that this staff member is acting up because they're being asked to do things that don't play to their strengths?
Absolutely. It's worth looking at what you're asking this person to do and see if it lines up with their skills and interests, you know? Delegation isn't just about getting work off your plate. It's about giving the work to the person who is best suited to handle it.
So true. And listeners, we want to hear from you. Think about your own delegation practices. Are you playing to your staff's strengths, or are you maybe setting them up for frustration and underperformance?
Yeah, tell us about it in the comments.
So the book also emphasizes the importance of understanding individual needs.
Yes.
You know, we talked about motivators and hygiene factors, but what about those deeper unspoken needs?
Right.
You know, like some people really need autonomy while others really like to collaborate.
Exactly. Everyone is wired a little differently. What motivates one person might completely demotivate another.
Right. It's like everyone has their own unique operating system.
For sure. And that's where observation and empathy come in.
Yeah.
You know, pay attention to how they interact with others and how they approach their work.
It's like you're a detective.
It is. You're piecing together clues, trying to figure out what motivates and fulfills this person.
And once you figure that out, then you can tailor your approach and communication style.
Yeah. And that all ties back into open communication.
Yeah.
You need to create a safe space where this staff member feels comfortable expressing their needs and concerns.
So maybe they need more clarity on what's expected of them, or maybe they're just overwhelmed.
Yeah. And they need help prioritizing their tasks.
Sometimes just feeling heard and understood can make a huge difference.
It can.
It
Yeah.
can really diffuse tension and build trust. And that opens the door to actually solving the problem.
Absolutely. And don't forget about the power of positive reinforcement.
Oh, yeah.
The book talks about how recognizing and appreciating good work can really motivate people.
Yeah.
So is there something specific that you can point out, something that this staff member is doing well?
Yeah, that's such a good reminder because it's so easy to focus on the negative.
It is, but when you highlight their strengths and accomplishments, it helps them build their confidence back up.
And it lets them know that you still value them.
Exactly. And remember, this is somebody who you relied on before, somebody who has proven that they can do the job. So this is likely temporary, and with the right approach, you can help them get back on track.
For sure. And listeners, have you had any experiences where a little positive reinforcement just completely turned things around?
Let us know in the comments. We love hearing your stories.
So to kind of wrap up our deep dive today,
Okay.
we've been talking about this tricky situation with your STAR staff member.
Yeah.
Let's go over some of the key takeaways that we learned from effective school management.
So first, remember Hertzberg's theory.
Right.
Is it a lack of motivators or an issue with the hygiene factors?
Yeah.
Maybe they just need more of a challenge or more recognition, or maybe their responsibilities need to change.
So it's almost like a checklist you can go through.
Exactly. You can go through and see if anything jumps out at you.
Right.
And then you need to think about your own management style. Could a more collaborative approach be more effective?
Right. Because what worked before might not be what they need now.
Exactly, especially if they're feeling demotivated or undervalued.
And don't forget about open and honest communication, you know?
Yeah.
Really listen to their perspective and what their needs are.
And let them help come up with solutions. You know, that my idea it will work concept really stuck with me.
Me too.
You need to give them ownership. Let them use their problem-solving skills.
And let them know they're valued.
Yeah.
So listeners, before we wrap up, think about your next interaction with this staff member.
Okay.
What's one question that you can ask them based on what we talked about today, something that will help you understand their needs and their motivations?
That's a great idea.
Share your question in the comments. We'd love to hear your ideas, and maybe we'll even feature some of them in a future episode.
And remember, this situation, while challenging, is also an opportunity.
Okay.
An opportunity to strengthen your leadership skills and understand your staff better.
And build an even stronger school community.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into effective school management. We'll be back next week with another insightful episode.
See you then.
Until then, keep leading, keep learning, and keep those comments coming.
Bye, everybody.